protection measure that okay, the disk is very low, we cannot dump your data. So all those things will be communicated to you. So if as long as if you have the right set of resource and right set of the task in progress, you can dump all your data. So that's the kind of we have brought in. So all those questions or all those the situations you guys had, that how I dump or how export my all data, irrespective what is the number of count. Here is your answer. You can utilize that one. Remote CC upgrade. This is the kind of features we have kind of brought in. Maybe a one or two quarter back, but I'm sure that some of you might not have heard of it or not using it. But with the time, it's getting more and more. Um, it's getting more and more better, and I will say that utilize it. So what that means is that to upgrade the CC, if you are MSSP, to upgrade the CC, you don't have to call the customer or get on call with the customer and get the access to the environment. Now CC can be remotely upgraded through the UI interface itself, and that will solve a lot of time for you. You can also look at the status, that whether the upgrade is completed, not completed, all those kinds of things you can do. So there is another point I just wanted to bring in and talk about here, that the remote CC upgrade is there, and in the previous session we have discussed a lot about this one, but just utilize that one. That's a very nice features to use, and I'm sure it will solve a lot of administrative problem for MSSPs especially. Okay, so that was pretty much about some of the things we have added. Um, and let's quickly jump to the demo, and I will just walk you through there. So I will go with the network policy. So network policy, here is network policy, and you guys have experience. You can create a policy here. You can say policy name is demo one, policy type egress, and description for test, and just save it. And then for the rules, you come here, and then you can add a rules, which is a very guided wizard, which will help you to kind of understand the things, how it works. So if you're a newcomer, first timer, you can utilize this guided wizard to create the rules. If you already experience and understand how things work and you want to use the bulk import, you can do that. So this part I'm skipping because this is a guided wizard, so you guys can also go and explore yourself. I want to demonstrate the import part. So we brought in this import things here. So you click on the import and then you do this one. So I have bunch of like kind of CSV here to import. So let's import this one. So as soon as I import, system says that invalid headers and what are the expectations are here, right? So basically, if you ended up making some mistake in the format, you are safe. System is going to tell you, and then possibly you can correct it. Now let's see. I have kind of put a kind of right headers and everything. I'm going to use this CSV. Now if I added a header and everything is correct, but some values in the row is incorrect. So it says validation failed for some rows. Please fix and re-upload. I said yes. So what it will do is it just download me a new file, and that file is nothing but the same file which you have uploaded, but that will have some extra rows which will tell you that what is wrong. So it says that there are two things. So is it kind of saying that we have added two column status, that okay, this row has some problems, and then possibly a value. What is the reason for that one? Invalid source value, this one for type IP range, because in the IP range type, someone type IP. So that is a wrong. So maybe you can correct it, or say, for example, you delete it. Will also fine. Of course, you want to correct it. I just deleted for my demo, but you want to correct it. So all the things are correct. Now here is the problem. It's again the same region. It's like you are giving a subnet instead of IP range. So all these things are properly um, mentioned or properly flagged so that you can just solve the problem quickly rather than you going finding your own. That was the easier job for us, but not the easier job for you. So we took uh, harder part, and we solve that problem for you so that you can export or you can import your network policy with the minimal challenge. Now let me import a kind of real thing. Okay. So now this is my final one, the bulk root final one. So that's should be imported. So in a span of time, in a quick second, I was able to import almost 1871 rules, and that all got imported here. And now I'm good to start my policy, and I can run it policy, right? So that's what you can do as well. And to start with, if you want to get the kind of some kind of um, format, that which format I have to use, you can always click on the export Excel, and that will give you. And then also you can export it, and then you can start editing that. So these are all the reports are good, all the imports are good. You can utilize to import also, or if you want, you can add to. So that's you can do anytime. And once you enable it, your policy will start working. Okay. So that's the one thing about the NDR policy, network policies. The next thing I want to talk about is again the deep tracker data dump part. Okay, so let me log in again. Okay. So this interface must be familiar to all of you, I believe. Now, for example, here you can see that I'm looking for data in the 7 days, and I see almost we're displaying 200 of records just to save your browser, your laptop, and all those things. We're displaying 200 records, and then out of almost 90 million records, right? And for example, you say, okay, I want to get some mode filtering or some analysis done. I always recommend to utilize these filters and then using filters to narrow down your result. Sometimes I have seen that users get confused that, okay, I really want to use just only the table level of filtering. Dash filter is good for a small amounts of data. You can utilize that one, but that's not the sole filtering capabilities. You cannot say that, okay, this filter is going to work for across all my data, 11 millions or 19 millions of data. This filter will never work. So always utilize this filter. If you wanted to filter out something, just utilize this one and just say remote, and then system will auto-complete. You don't have to type all. Just say, okay, I want to see the remote login success. If you don't want to see remote login success, just say not equal. These are the basic things. Excuse me. And then leucine also there, right? Say for whatever reason you agreed that, okay, I want to have all my 19 millions of records to be downloaded. Okay, no question. It's your decision. You can always click on the start data dump. As you see that it say trigger a background data dump to server disk. May take time to complete, depends on the size of the data. You just click on it. If you have some kinds of questions there, or some kinds of, like, for example, if I add here remote login success, right? If you click on this one, it says that, okay, this filter will be applied and the data range will be downloaded from this time to this time, and all the data will be downloaded. You just say, okay, I'm okay with this. Let's export it. Once you click on the export, system you are submitting a task to the system. It should return with a kind of task ID for you. So if task ID is 4054, or if you want, you can just always click on it, you go there. So task ID is 504, and then you can see that, okay, submitted by me, data export certificate, and submitted. And here are there are options. Okay, you can look at the query that what the submission is all about, or if you want to cancel, you can cancel it. Very soon, I think no one has no one have added anything else. Very soon that will go in the in progress or in process state. And then once your data is kind of downloaded, you are going to you are going to receive an email address on this one. Sorry, email on this one. Make sure that your system is configured with the email server settings and all. then you can do this. And then once the submitted status changes to done or completed, you will see the download things is ready. And then once you click on download, download will start happening. So rather than waiting, I'll just utilize this one. So if I click on the download and I chose it, and then download is started. So here you can see, for example, there are like 67 MB of data is being downloaded. So that is kind of getting downloaded. You can leave it and you can start doing your own stuff. Doesn't matter. For some reason it is failed. It will show to be as a failed. And from the same deep tracker, let's go back again. You can also utilize the data dump for your IP flows. If you wanted to dump your net flows, you can utilize that IP flows too. You can choose your time anytime. I'm going with the last 60 minutes. You can pick any time. And the same data is available for the alert too. If you wanted to alert data dump that okay, I want to get me all 365 days of alerts, you can click on the start data dump. So that will be also done. So that was about the data dump. And remember that this data dump is a kind of very resource consuming in terms of ongoing current and then also the disk and all those things. So be careful. Um, we have protection that system will warn you that if you are submitting more requests than it can process, it will not allow you. The disk space is getting closer to I guess 80%. It will not allow you. So make sure that you have enough resource before you do that. Okay. So that was a threat indicator data dump. Now deep tracker 2.0. So here's our deep tracker 2.0. So that is kind of which is powered by the PPL, and you can see a basic query is there. Source threat indicator where event type is not known, just a kind of placeholder, and sort plus time. That means it will do the sorting based on the time. So the most recent time will be at the top. Maybe I just started the task. That's my taking time because data dump is happening. But okay, so now here is the kind of PPL based. So if you wanted to write your own kind of filter, which is autocomplete enabled, you can type here where, and then you can type your queries here. That is auto completion is enabled. I'm typing fast. And you can say, okay, I just wanted to show you more. So if I put a dot here, this now system is giving you some more insight that what is wrong you're making. So in that, you can see that what mistakes you're making in the query. So that part is also there. Okay, so I see that these many users are logged in successfully, right? These many events are there which you can read for successful login. Now, if you wanted to find out the failure, now you can see the failure almost there are 12 failure in 60 minutes. Let me increase the time, and then I can see almost 1.2K failures. Now I wanted to know who are all the users who got failure, right? So I can just like simple, I can say FI. So I see these are the users. Again, these users is going to be 1.2K. Now you can also say, okay, I just need to username. So now you see all the users who are there, like 8 users has 1.2K of the failures. So now instead of going through 1.2K failure login to understand who all our users were there, you just need to type this query. Now, for example, you wanted to see, okay, how many failure for each user. So you can just utilize like some of the save query I'm trying to give you here. So this is the one query is saved. So here what I'm trying to say is that what are the threat indicators by the type which is on the top in my list. I just run it. When I run it, you can see that it says the web exploit is 254. in 15 days, and protocol recons, and these are the kind of in this order, right? If you wanted to change the sorting order, you just have to change the plus to here, and that works here. Now, I want to visualize it. Just click on the visualize, and then the same thing you see here, right? If I say minus, so I can visualize the same part here, and then you can say that the wave slow at 254, you can visualize it. You can look at the same information in the area chart, pie chart, and then horizontal bar. So you can just, on one click, you can visualize all those information. So wherever there is a kind of statistics based search is there, you can visualize it. And then this is the pattern where if you kind of put the logs and everything, the patterns will also come. So this was a kind of pretty much about the Deep Tracker 2.0. Again, I believe with the Deep Tracker 2.0 is going to solve a big problem for the people who's kind of like wanting to have this kinds of stats, especially for the SOC analyst. And we are constantly working it to improve it, make it better. Which one of the item in my top list is that enabling the SARAI here so that you don't have to type this kinds of query. I was also a beginner, maybe a 1 week back in the PPL query, but in 1 week I understand a lot about the PPL because its syntax and its kind of conventions and its kind of instinct is very natural. So if you just look at it, it's much easier than the Lucene, I can say that. If you look at it once, then you understand what has to be done. And then again, system kind of also offer you the auto completion. So that's the kind of Deep Tracker 2.0. Okay, so after that, time permits, I just want to look at this last. Here is log flow collection status. So log flow collection status here is our kind of visualization thing. So whatever was there, it's there. You can see here the visualization part that these are the devices are ingesting, and what is the type of these devices. You can see the coordinate, barcode, and all those things. These are the kind of logs, these are the flows. So you can know that which devices are sending flows, which are not, which are sending logs, which are not, how many logs are flowing, and then going to which CCs. You can count also your CCs here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 CCs are there, 4 CCs are there. So you, in one glance, you can see that everything, like how many Linux devices are there. You can always hover it and get a kind of different visualizations to see that. And here all everything is there. Now analysis part, you can see the trend. This is a trend at the top level, but you're always allowed to unselect and select only Linux logs and see what is the kind of trend here. You can see the Linux stocks trend here. Or if you wanted to have a kind of like, suppose wanted to see only some source devices, you can also do that from here. And then your original stats is already here. So we are not taking that one away because that's kind of very rich informations and you can always consume it. All these things are listed here. So you still have the access to the original one, but we are bringing some of the new things so that it help you to understand your ingestion, inventory, and status better. With that, I think that is pretty much for this session. We have some of the things already there. You better experience it. With that, I will just conclude this session. Back to you, Maggie.
Recording stopped.
Thank you so much, Abhishek. So I believe we have up next from detection to action AI SIM feature spotlight. Abhishek, unless you covered that already.
Yeah, that is done.
Okay, that's all done. Same thing. Just making sure. So actually next we have modernizing SOC operations, training teams, and evolving for efficiency with Aniket Gurau. Aniket, are you prepared?
Yep, thanks, Maggie.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Recording in progress.
Okay, so yep. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good morning, good afternoon, depending on which part of the globe you are in. So this is Aniket, Solution Architects team of Secure, and today we would be discussing about the importance of modernizing SOC operations or enhancing the overall SOC experience using AI SOC. Okay, so just Hope my screen is visible.
It is.
Yeah, thank you. So, yeah, building SOC, as you know, is a journey which is an ongoing process. The requirements continuously change, and it takes continuous efforts to ensure that the SOC team performance doesn't decline over the period of time. So, when you're talking about the overall SOC, the tools that you use to do the security monitoring and analysis, it is bit more varied like a CCTV monitor. The concept is the same: to see, analyze, and take action. Uh, uh, Today, in today's session, we are going to have a look at the importance of modern SOC solution, architecture, and the key components that go into the SOC, the roles and the tasks that are supposed to be followed by the SOC analyst. And then more importantly, how modernizing of operations can be achieved through the AI power. I'm sure you must have gone through the previous session of Abhishek, which he demonstrated how the SOC team is, the platform is going to help the SOC team. That's what we are going to see now. And obviously, the compliance that the SOC team will offer when you add on to certain tasks that are, non-conventional in a sense. Then obviously the key commitments. So a SOC, as we know, has become a critical part of any organization, especially if you're serious about cybersecurity nowadays. Choosing the right model for an organization, it's not just about hiring the team or a service provider. Risk managers must carefully consider operational responsibility, understand the risk before choosing the right kind of SOC model that needs to be implemented. So how why it has become so important nowadays? There are increasing regulatory demands which require comprehensive monitoring services. Organizations have to be ready to manage and tackle any breach scenarios, uh, especially when cyber attacks are becoming more complex and when they are targeted towards specific sectors, as we know. This necessitates the advanced defenses and responses from the respective verticals. So we know that a prompt response is critical to protect an organization's vital assets. So countering these sophisticated attacks needs the SOC teams have to be responsible for monitoring, continuous monitoring, detecting, containing, and remediating the IT threats. SOC teams, they have to rely on the latest threat intelligence to determine whether an active threat is occurring, the scope of the impact, as well as to go ahead and utilizing the SOAR capability, that is appropriate remediation that needs to be undertaken. So this will ensure the rapid incident response, through the platform for NSOC. So, what are the key components we would see for for a SOC setup? Uh, when we talk about the SOC setup, we say about the PPT, not the one that is presented here, but about the process, about the platform, and the team. Now, when we talk about the real-time process, so a system design and architecture uh, analysis done on that part while implementing the process, identifying the security gaps and policy and configuration issues, as well as determining the root cause of any security incidents that may have occur, and to work on those root cause, to progressive hardening of these overall systems or the overall environment, so that recurrence is avoided. That's what we have to learn from our mistakes. Then there are operational processes such as security incident management, patch management. You have other risk management, or service availability, so on and so forth. So all these would definitely be part of the process, values that would be derived from these processes. So then obviously the second key component is the platform, the tools that needs to be implemented within an organization to carry out the collection of security data, audit trails and logs from the strategic points. The tools would be used for identification of suitable framework so as to address the specific needs of any organization. They have to do a continuous security monitoring, optimally use the fine-tuned and proactive approach, using a proactive approach using the SIMS capabilities, as well as scalability and high availability, which becomes very important in case of any SOC operations. So the tool has to ensure, the platform has to ensure that the scalability and high availability is available. And then comes obviously the team. This is very important because however good you have the process set up, however good you have the platform supporting this process, ultimately it's the people who are going to work on it. So it is important to identify the security management personnel with correct qualifications, and they are equipped with the right skills. So what kind of people are like security product certified monitoring staff, network security specialist with especially having the domain knowledge and risk mitigation expertise, which becomes very important. Compliance professionals, SOC analysts who are adept in forensics, collection of IOCs, IOAs, malware analysts, all of these are part of the team. Security personnel who would be bringing in analytical skill and importantly false positive elimination process. So even that becomes very important. Reviewing the policies on a periodic basis, establishing baselines and risk mitigations. Those are the things which would be, those are the things which would, the people would derive the value when we talk about the team. So the team has to undergo collaborative knowledge, and not only that, it has to build the capacity for future needs. You have to always look in for the future needs so as to the team stays always ahead of time. Red teaming activities that would be performed. So these are some of the things which constitute to the values that are derived from the team. So using these three, we can safely say that it will cater to any organization's basic security need and fulfill the requirements for its customers, regulatory bodies, and other stakeholders. So what normal SOC architecture comprises of, right? When, as we know, we have this is a basic architecture diagram which will involve the collection of information from various resources to ensure that right kind of information is collected from all your peripheral security devices, then analyze this information. So multiple ways of doing it, okay? And you have the traditional way of manually analyzing it. Obviously we are going to look at a more modern ways how AI and ML is going to forward these analysis. That's what we are looking at, getting the outputs from the platform, especially a second platform, that is. then extract the necessary threat indicators. So this is very important, because the peripheral security devices are going to give you lots and lots of information. So it is very important that the overall PPT, all of these are, they are extracting the necessary threat indicators, IOCs, IOAs, and then mitigate or propose mitigation of these identified threats. And this is how the overall functionality would be having. Obviously, the next thing would be escalating the matter to the stakeholders, providing necessary RCAs, so on and so forth. Right. So this is about the SOC architecture. So what would be a generic, let's move on to what would be a generic, SOC task that would be carried out by, any SOC team for that matter. So a SOC analyst is generally going to monitor and identify the multiple threat alerts that are, given by the OTM platform. So these kind of threats, when we talk about it, we can broadly classify into two types: the security alerts, which everyone is talking about nowadays. Other important aspect, that is the system alerts. Now, this is about the infra, because you have to ensure that, right, as I mentioned, like right kind of information has to be fed to the platform. So you also have to ensure as a SOC team that there is no break in that kind of information, and that is where the infra breakdown may lead to gap in the information received, like a data source is offline, or the data source is not able to communicate with the collector or the platform. So these are the things which needs to be analyzed immediately, and corrective measures are to be taken. So a platform will generally generate a system alerts when the collector is not available. As I said, like data points are not sending the data, or there is any hardware or software glitch, like system disk overcommit, unknown devices, backup is failure. So there are multiple things which, as a SOC analyst, you have to keep an eye on and ensure that these glitches are resolved then and there. So when we talk about system alerts, like before we move on to the security alerts, like when we have the system alerts raised, it needs to be immediately informed and remediated instantly, as that becomes the basic of any platform monitoring. So that is going to impact the capability of the platform. So that needs to be taken care of on immediate basis. Then obviously, when we talk about security alerts, remediator actions would be depending on multiple factors: criticality, type of alerts, what kind of devices to be remediated. So the most important thing is the business continuity. You don't want to carry out a false remediation on some of the systems which are important from business continuity point of view, and that's where this the correct remediation or the SOAR functionality of the platform comes into picture. So let's look at some of the analysis part, like we are seeing here. I have listed out some of common attacks and the incident response for those common attacks. Like you say brute force attack. So when anyone is trying to guess a password by doing a continuous login attempts using multiple passwords, or so there would be definitely login failures that would be generated in a short period of time. So those needs to be investigated with the respective identity access manager servers like AD or LDAP servers that you have, system logs that would give, and then possible actions would be to reach out to the user saying why this has happened, whether it is a genuine mistake or somebody is actually trying to guess the password. Similarly, botnets that the botnets are going to carry out various DDoS attacks. Botnets are going to you can see sudden increase in the traffic or targeted traffic. So that kind of attacks that are happening through the botnets. So obviously the suspicious IPs that needs to be filtered out. Okay, and then network logs would be assisting you with that and take further action. Isolate the system and find out who that attacker is. Ransomware, data exfiltration. These are some of the new attacks we all know about. As one of earlier sessions we have seen, like nowadays, ransomware is no longer about just encrypting the data and getting the asking for ransom. Nowadays it is more about getting the data and informing the victim that I have your data and now you are at risk. So these kind of attacks, so which will be found out using AV logs, OS logs, needs to have a remediation done on immediate basis. Remediation could be regular antivirus checks, obviously taking immediate action of isolating the system, so on and so forth. Similar is the case with data exfiltration. So moving ahead, we have some of more attacks you can see like with DOS or DDoS attack, denial of service, compromised account, as well as advanced persistent threat. Now this advanced persistent threat are again going to give you access and give the attacker an access to the back doors. It will create some additional processes, and when that happens, how the system is at risk, the overall network is at risk, so that it could lead to multiple complex things like your business continuity being affected, your systems going down, and data getting lost, so on and so forth. So these are some of the common attacks types and those remediation. So this whole process of identifying and analyzing and then knowing that this is a complete, this is an actual attack, and then carrying out remediation. This requires high level of dedication, not only from the SOC personnel, but more importantly nowadays from the platform itself. And that's where we are talking about the modern SOC solution. This modern SOC solution, when we discuss about it, these are these are not limited to the traditional ways. A new age SOC solution has to go beyond and offer much more than just the investigation and threat hunting. Okay, we have to look at from the broader perspective here. So when we talk about the AI SOC monitoring and alerting, you have normally security event monitoring, investigation, escalation, then doing actionable response. Okay, these are the common things that we already know. However, health maintenance, policy change request, compliance and security posture assessment, these are some of the things which are as much important in case of a SOC search. Okay, sorry. So as we have the platform has to monitor and normalize the security event feeds and escalation of incidents based on various trigger criteria. This service has to include the historical event investigation. It can't rely on the ones. Analysis of statistically significant data clusters, as well as on request subject to getting the contracted terms. Okay, so these kind of things needs to be analyzed, which includes policy change request, as I mentioned, or compliance and security posture assessment, which is again an ongoing process. Because through this phase only, the SOC analyst will establish a clear understanding of the capabilities and the risks that are associated, which needs to be again mitigated, okay, to maintain an SLA. That SLA would be with its, end customer, SLA with its, end user. It could be anything. So the platform will perform a footprint of customers' internet presence, expose data, and potential points of associated vulnerabilities. All of these would be covered by the platform when we talk about a modern SOC solution. So AI powered SOC, Sera AI powered SOC, as Abhishek has, in their sessions, we have given you some of capabilities. Let's look at it, how that is going to help the SOC team. This is going to enable the proactive approach as compared to a reactive one. Okay, so an AI-driven security operations center would be using the machine learning to enhance and automate these security processes. Okay, this will involve leveraging the capabilities to improve threat detection, accelerate the incident response, okay, and optimize the resource allocation within us. That becomes very important because by automizing certain tasks, like you can alert triage or investigation, this a modern AI powered SOC is going to enable the security team to focus more on focus on more complex and strategic security issues. Okay, so they don't have to work on the mundane things, and they can then concentrate on the actual security issues, complex problems that may arise within an organization's network in terms of cybersecurity. So these tools, are going to revolutionize, are revolutionizing, basically, I would say, traditional, changing the traditional approaches. Okay, these are advanced technologies to help the SOC analyst capabilities, enhance the SOC analyst capabilities, and this emergence of AI-driven SOC would ensure that the how can we put it? If there is any scarcity of skilled personnel, that would be patched up using the platform's correct approach of using AI, and so basically it is going to automate tier 1 or tier 2 functionalities. Okay, so that's what we are looking at. So by automizing these tier 1 and tier 2 functionalities, what it is going to do is it is going to reduce the alert fatigue. Okay, enable again, the security teams are not going to get tied up with some of unnecessary additional work, and they can then minimize the risk that is risk that is brought up with the actual threats faced by the organization. So now let's see how that will be working when you are talking about from the second AI SOC point of view. Let's see how these SOC reports would be helping the analyst. Like this is a typical alert notification email received by the SOC team. It gives the time of what kind of alert message has been generated, and what is the status, and the basic what threat indicators are part of it. All of these that would be part of the email received. that email, the relevant information would be extracted from that email. Okay, what is important from that particular alerts analysis point of view, that would be taken, and then obviously human interpretation would be added, whether it is based on the analysis done, the SOC engineer would be adding that human interpretation and then sending out the final report. Now, here, this is where the AI assisted SOC would be, the platform would be helping out the team. They are going to list out various associated multiple type of threat indicators. Okay, so you can see different kinds of threat indicators which are associated with that particular alert would be listed out. Okay, then you're going to be get help about MITRE attack technique IDs. Okay, those were matched during that particular alert. So in that case, potential MITRE attack groups would be highlighted so that again the SOC team can stay focused on the kind of attack that is happening, as well as more importantly attack chain analysis. Very important. What kind of path is followed for this particular attack, that would be detailed, mentioned in detail to team for further help, and then uh, added threat predictions, where that attack might lead to. What are the things that might happen if the attack is going for, if the